Have you ever wondered how a nation reinvents itself in real time, turning challenges into catalysts for change? Picture a leader, standing in the grandeur of a newly renovated marina palace, sharing his vision for a country on the rise. Today, we delve into an exclusive interview with President Patrice Talon, a candid conversation that captures the heartbeat of Benin's transformation. This is not just a story about policies and progress. It's a journey through the evolution of a nation, a tale of accountability, reform, and the promise of a brighter future. Imagine standing at the crossroads of history and progress, a moment where the echoes of a troubled past meet the vibrant promise of tomorrow. President Patrice Talon, seated in the majestic Marina Palace in Benin, shares an unfiltered assessment of a nation that has come a long way from its humble beginnings. In this intimate interview with journalists Marie Lea and Serge Ayaka, Talon lays bare his vision for Benin's future, reflecting on the strides made in health, education, security, infrastructure, and governance. He boldly declares, "Benin is doing well," yet he acknowledges the citizens' impatience for even faster progress. This interview is more than a series of sound bites. It is a deep dive into the ideological and practical transformation of a country that once struggled under the weight of corruption and inefficiency. Today, we explore the key insights from this conversation, unearthing the nuanced balance between economic reality and public perception, and the dramatic reforms that are reshaping Benin. To fully appreciate the significance of President Talon's remarks, we must first understand the backdrop against which this transformation has taken place. Benin, a small West African nation, has a storied past marked by struggles and setbacks. Historically, it was often overshadowed by its larger neighbors, nations plagued by political instability and rampant corruption. In previous eras, the country was infamous for practices that many now refer to as a Nescafé democracy, a chaotic system where newly appointed officials would immediately siphon off millions from government coffers, celebrating their ill-gotten gains with public displays of joy and entitlement. But over the last decade, under President Talon's leadership, Benin has embarked on an ambitious journey of reform. The Marina Palace, where this interview takes place, is a symbol of that metamorphosis. Renovated and reimagined, it stands as a testament to the country's commitment to progress. Here, Talon outlines a vision that bridges the past and the future, a vision that is both deeply rooted in Benin's history and boldly futuristic. President Talon acknowledges that the journey has been long and fraught with challenges. "We've come from so far," he reflects, reminding us of the hurdles overcome to achieve stability and growth. This transformation, however, is not just about grand infrastructure projects or sweeping economic policies. It is also about altering the very fabric of governance. By addressing corruption head-on, reforming political party systems, and instilling a new culture of accountability, Benin is reinventing itself from within. Economic reality versus public perception. One of the recurring themes in President Talon's interview is the contrast between macroeconomic progress and the everyday experiences of Beninese citizens. He candidly admits, "The purchasing power of most Beninese has not increased," which is true. This stark admission points to a broader challenge. While the country's GDP may be growing and major projects are being completed at a remarkable pace, the benefits of these advancements are not yet fully felt at the grassroots level. Consider the rising costs of imported goods. Despite significant infrastructure improvements, such as the paving of roads in previously neglected communes like Candid, many citizens continue to feel the pinch of higher living expenses. This dichotomy between the headline economic figures and the day-to-day realities of ordinary people forms a complex narrative. On one hand, Benin is making impressive strides in modernizing its urban and rural landscapes. On the other, there remains a gap between economic growth and improvements in individual quality of life. Transformation of infrastructure. President Talon offers vivid examples of how Benin's physical landscape is being redefined. He recounts the transformation of Candid, a town that, until his administration, had not seen a single centimeter of paved road. Today, thanks to an ambitious urban asphaltage program, even flood-prone neighborhoods are being modernized. This is not merely a cosmetic change. Improved road infrastructure reduces car maintenance costs, facilitates smoother transportation, and ultimately enhances the daily lives of citizens. These tangible improvements serve as powerful symbols of the government's commitment to progress. Before these projects, many communities were isolated by poor road conditions, stifling economic opportunities and perpetuating cycles of poverty. Now, with every paved road and upgraded facility, Benin moves closer to realizing its potential as a dynamic and modern nation. Talon's promise that not a single commune in Benin will be without paved roads resonates deeply as a testament to what dedicated leadership can achieve. Governance reform and the end of impunity. A central pillar of this transformation is the sweeping governance reform that President Talon has championed. He criticizes the old Nescafé democracy, a term coined to describe a system mired in corruption and chaos, where political appointments were immediately followed by the misappropriation of public funds. Talon recounts with clarity the past abuses, stories of officials taking 10, 20, or even 30 million CFA francs as soon as they assumed office. Their celebrations marked by songs proclaiming, "I am in joy, immense joy, because Papa Happiness has appointed me." This culture of impunity is being replaced by a new order, one that prizes accountability and honesty over personal gain. The government's robust anti-corruption measures have not only curtailed the blatant misappropriation of funds, but have also fostered a culture where public money is treated with the respect it deserves. Talon emphasizes that Benin's money is no longer stolen and indiscriminately distributed. Instead, there is a clear, systematic effort to ensure that every public expenditure is scrutinized and that officials earn their keep through genuine, transparent work. The impact of these reforms extends beyond the corridors of power. By curbing corruption, the government has created a more predictable and stable environment for investors and, by extension, for all citizens. This shift from a system of patronage to one of accountability is one of the most profound changes in Benin's recent history, laying the groundwork for sustainable development and renewed public trust. Political succession and the future of governance. As the interview unfolds, the conversation turns to the critical issue of political succession. With President Talon announcing that he will not seek a third term in the upcoming 2026 elections, the nation finds itself at a pivotal moment. The future of Benin's democracy now hinges on how power is transferred and how the political landscape is reshaped. Talon addresses this topic with both pragmatism and optimism. He acknowledges that it is legitimate for the people to look toward 2026 with anticipation and hope. At the same time, he assures that his team remains committed to the nation's progress, despite the inevitable changes that come with the end of his tenure. The interview reveals that internal shifts are already underway, evidenced by recent resignations and a noticeable reduction in the number of political parties in parliament. Whereas dozens of parties once jostled for power, the current system now features only 3, signaling a move toward greater coherence and accountability. This reform of the political party system is not just about reducing numbers. It is about ensuring that political candidates are chosen based on merit and collective vision rather than individual ambition. Talon argues that parties, not individuals, should nominate candidates at all levels of government, a principle that promises to create a more stable and unified political environment in the future. Contending perspectives and ongoing debates. The interview is not without its controversies. There are debates over the pace of economic improvements and the extent to which citizens have benefited from recent reforms. Some critics point out that while the country's infrastructure is rapidly evolving, the rising costs of imported goods continue to strain household budgets. Others question whether the anti-corruption measures are deep enough to dismantle entrenched systems of patronage fully. Supporters of President Talon, however, see these challenges as part of the growing pains of a nation in transformation. They argue that change is rarely instantaneous, and the progress witnessed so far is a promising sign of things to come. The dialogue within Benin is vibrant and multifaceted, reflecting both the hope of a reformed future and the lingering memories of past excesses. Amidst these sweeping reforms and robust policy debates, the human element remains at the heart of the story. For many Beninese, the changes unfolding before them are both a source of pride and a reminder of the struggles they have overcome. Consider the example of a local mechanic who once spent a fortune on car repairs due to poorly maintained roads. Today, as roads are repaved and communities are connected, his daily life has become markedly easier, a small yet profound victory in the broader narrative of national renewal. In quieter moments, citizens express a deep sense of optimism about the future. They speak of the tangible improvements in education, healthcare, and security, all of which contribute to a renewed sense of hope. This collective sentiment is echoed in President Talon's measured tone, a blend of cautious optimism and determined resolve. His words, laden with both accountability and aspiration, invite viewers to reflect on what true progress means in a country that has weathered storms of instability. Dialogue from the interview captures this emotional landscape. One poignant moment occurs when Talon, with a reflective gaze, admits that despite significant macroeconomic improvements, the everyday purchasing power of many Beninese has not yet seen the dramatic uplift they deserve. This honest appraisal is not a sign of defeat, but a call to action, a reminder that true transformation is a journey, one that requires both visionary leadership and the collective effort of an entire nation. The narrative also touches on the cultural shift that accompanies these changes. Gone are the days when corruption was normalized and celebrated. Instead, a new culture of accountability is emerging, one where public funds are managed with integrity and every citizen is empowered to participate in the country's democratic journey. This evolution is not merely bureaucratic, it is deeply personal, influencing how people view their government, their communities, and their own potential for progress. As we draw this conversation to a close, the story of President Talon's Marina Palace interview leaves us with much to ponder. Here, in the heart of Benin, a nation is actively redefining its identity through bold reforms, robust governance, and tangible improvements in infrastructure and public services. President Talon's candid reflections offer a window into the challenges and triumphs of a country in transition, a narrative marked by both celebration and introspection. This interview is more than a snapshot of a moment in time. It is a testament to the resilience of a people who have journeyed from a past marred by corruption and inefficiency to a present defined by accountability and progress. It poses a vital question for all of us. How do we measure true success? Is it in the gleaming new roads and modernized infrastructure? Or is it in the improved quality of life for every citizen, the eradication of corruption, and the promise of a democratic legacy? For those who have followed Benin's transformation, the message is clear. Progress is a continuous process. As the country prepares for the 2026 elections and navigates the complexities of political succession, the foundations laid today will shape the future for generations to come. The evolution of Benin's political and economic landscape offers valuable lessons, not just for West Africa, but for the global community, on the power of visionary leadership and the importance of perseverance in the face of adversity. In the end, the insights shared during this exclusive interview challenge us to think deeply about what it means to govern and to build a nation. They remind us that even amidst formidable challenges, there is always room for hope, for renewal, and for the promise of a brighter tomorrow. So, as we reflect on this compelling conversation, ask yourself, what is the true measure of progress? Can the transformation witnessed in Benin serve as a blueprint for change in other parts of the world? And most importantly, how can we all contribute to building societies that prioritize accountability, transparency, and the well-being of every citizen? Thank you for joining us on this journey through the transformative vision of President Patrice Talon, a vision that is reshaping Benin and, by extension, offering new hope for democratic governance in West Africa. If you found this analysis insightful, share your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe for more in-depth explorations of the stories that define our world. Remember, every step toward accountability and reform is a step toward a future where every voice is heard and every dream is given a chance to flourish. Stay tuned for our next documentary as we continue to explore the ideas and events that shape our global landscape. Until next time, keep questioning, keep striving, and let the spirit of progress guide you.